like initially I was thinking, well, Gaethje was going to be a super strong matchup just because of his defensive wrestling. And he's so good at getting back to his feet, so good at scrambling and keeping the constant pressure. But it's just, I feel like Khabib with his control, with his top game, with his cage control, will be too much. I think it's going to be probably Khabib's toughest fight. I think he's going to, I think Gaethje's it's not going to be an easy night at the office for Khabib. I don't think he's going to completely blow him out of the water, but I think just with his control, he'll get the job done. So I'm more leaning towards Khabib for that one.
You're no stranger to leg kicks yourself. I'm just curious what you think about Gaethje's leg kicks, if you think they can be any kind of difference maker. People keep talking about that.
Yeah, 100%. If you've got a guy that stands up in front of you and happily gets kicked, but that's not really a range that Khabib fights at. He closes the distance quite quickly, and he'll get right in your face. It's very hard to kick someone in the leg when they're running at you.
You always have to have Khabib as the favorite. You know, he's undefeated. He has barely lost a round in his career, so he's the favorite, of course. But if anybody can do it, it's probably Justin Gaethje. So, man, I'm looking forward to that fight.
I think it's fascinating. I'm very curious to see what happens. I think Justin is very clearly the best wrestler that Khabib has fought for a very long time. And then the number two on that is he hits really hard and he kicks really hard and everything he does is hard. And I am very curious to see how that plays out. I think he's got a decent chance of winning. And man, if Khabib's able to Khabib him, I will be very, very impressed.
You know, Khabib gonna win this fight, second or third round. Ground and pound or submission. This is what I see when I think about this fight.
It's just Khabib's fighting prowess and style, man. Like, everyone knows what he's gonna do. Everyone knows what he's gonna do, and no one can stop him. There's no secret. He doesn't come into fights with new game plans. He doesn't come into fights. It doesn't matter, because he just knows that he's gonna take you down and bash shit out of you. And that's it. Every fight, same game plan, same layout. He knows. It's amazing. It is amazing to have that sort of, like, that level of anything in the game. Like, because there have been very high level guys in the game, like, across the history. Like, there's been a lot of high level guys with those sort of skill sets where people know what they're doing, and then they start to work them out and they start to counter them, and then you see everyone switched onto it, and then the guy can't quite get his game plan off anymore. Not with Khabib. Khabib does it. He makes it work no matter what. And that is amazing. Amazing, especially at the level that he's at. I think that's amazing. I don't see him losing. I don't see him losing ever. Like with someone with that caliber and that level of skill, and that overwhelming level gap. How do you beat him? You catch him. You can't catch him because he's got a chin made out of granite. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you'd have to catch him as he's diving forward with a flying knee. Like, and it has to be massive. And I'm pretty sure even while he's half out, he'll still shoot for a single and grab it. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't see it. I don't see it. Honestly, the only way I think you could beat Khabib is if you fought fire with fire. And that's if you tried out wrestling him. Like, you took it to him in the wrestle. But how do you out wrestle Khabib when the level gap's that huge? I think that's the only way, though, is to just to spam wrestle him. It's the only way, because it stops him being offensive. So you be offensive on him. And mate, that's hard. You got to turn it into like a 5-round wrestling match. Gaethje's got next level wrestling, but which is why he went through that period where he's just throwing bombs, and I was like, he's so much better than that. He's so much better than that. He can mix it up so well with the best of them. He's such a good fighter. I think he's like, honestly, I think he's gonna give Khabib one of his toughest tests. I think Gaethje's gonna give him one of his toughest tests for sure.
Well, from a wrestling standpoint, I'm sure it's not Division I level at the present time, but from a MMA standpoint, I'm sure it's as best it can be. He might very well have the best takedown defense out of anybody because, you know, he has that wrestling background. But remember, this is MMA, so there's a lot of variables to takedowns, you know. So that's an advantage he has, but that's also an advantage we have. It's not pure wrestling. It was a pure wrestling match. I don't know how we'd fare, but this isn't wrestling. So, you know, this is MMA. So there's a lot of things you can do in MMA that you can't do in wrestling that you know, would prevent the takedown in a regular wrestling match. But an MMA match, there's almost sometimes nothing you can do. You're getting taken down regardless. If you get hit on the right spot and it's done proper, you're going down, you know, and you can't do it in wrestling. You can't punch, you can't kick, you can't knee, you know, you can't elbow in wrestling. So this is not a wrestling match, but his credentials are extremely dangerous because, you know, he's used to wrestling. So it's a big advantage for him in the sense of fighting of everybody. But the big disadvantage, I feel, is that he's never met anybody that's going to continue to stay on the wrestling and continue to wrestle. And 5 rounds, he's going to have to wrestle 5 rounds. It's not going to be Khabib's going to shoot in a couple of times and it's over. How many times have you seen Khabib stop after 2 shots? Unless he wants to stop, he's not stopping. He's prepared to go 5 rounds, attempt after takedown. And if he's successful 1 time, he'll be successful 2 times. And if he's successful 2 times and you manage to get up after 2, I don't know how much more you're going to have.
You know, I've wrestled my whole life, and I wrestle a lot in there. Huge part of wrestling is not being able to let someone take you down and hold you down. And that was my main focus my whole life when I wrestled. I never had a great offense, but you could not take me down. You could not hold me down. So, you know, I'm going to use that. You know, it's very important to stay off the ground. I'm not trying to go in there and wrestle with Khabib. You know, I don't think I can wrestle now because I haven't focused on wrestling like that to win a wrestling match. You know, I'm not there. But, you know, I've constantly worked on my defense. You know, that's never gone away. You know, in fighting, it's detrimental to be on bottom. But when someone can beat you up and you know, cause serious injury to you, then being taken down is not where you want to be and laying on your back. So I have to focus on not being on the fence, not getting taken down. And if I do get taken down, I got to make him work, you know, like his life depends on it. If he does take me down, then I need to make sure that I threaten him with something up the middle that, you know, at least is going to make him hesitate next time. And so that's what I'll be in there doing. Yeah, I think it's the most important factor in any fight. Who controls distances is established very early on in the fight. You can't see it, I can't see it, but, you know, someone establishes that. So, you know, and usually that person is more effective. So it's going to be very important for me to establish distance control, and I have to keep moving off angles. I can't sit on the tracks. You know, you call them the train tracks. I can't be on the same tracks as he's on. I have to constantly be off the tracks. And I possess some serious power. So, you know, I got to touch him when he's least expecting it in a spot that he will go to sleep.
Nothing changed. I'm going to try wrestling with him. You know, if you're going to defend the defense, if you're going to defend my takedown 1 time, I'm going to try 2nd, 3rd. I'm going to try 100 times. And, you know, of course, I'm going to box with him. I'm going to kick with him, you know. And it's going to be kickboxing and wrestling, like mix. And my goal is make him tired. You know, I'm gonna make him tired. This is my goal. And maybe around number 3 or around number 4, my plan is finishing.
I would predict that Khabib is going to win, but I would not debunk anything that you just said. And it is a very interesting match. Look, Khabib wins every fight the same. He throws you down and bludgeons you. But Justin Gaethje's never been held down and bludgeoned. That's one of the problems. And Justin Gaethje also knows how to scramble and get back up to his feet. These guys that Khabib has held down are not wrestlers. They're jiu-jitsu guys. They're not trained to turn around, hand fight, stand up and get away. And I don't know that Gaethje has been refining those skills enough over the years. I could tell you Justin Gaethje in college would not get taken down and held down by Khabib. Justin Gaethje now, if he's gotten away from his wrestling, I don't really know what that training looks like. I know that he's working out every day with Kamaru Usman, who's a fantastic wrestler. And I would trust that that's going to help him. But positionally, it is very interesting. And I also don't buy into the theory that Khabib has to take you down. I'm suggesting for you a historical fact that Khabib does take you down to beat you up. I don't suggest that he has to. He's ended up at his feet a couple of times. He struggled to get Conor McGregor down and then dropped Conor McGregor with something Floyd Mayweather couldn't do. Khabib could not get Ally Aquinta down. It turned into a straight-up boxing contest, and he outstruck Ally Aquinta. So Khabib has a couple of options. This isn't just a grappler versus striker, but I think he's gonna have a hard time taking Gaethje down.
Khabib Conor 2 or Khabib GSP? Which one do you think is more likely that we'll see, somewhere down the line?
No, I don't think the GSP is very likely. I want it to be. That's a dream fight for all of us, myself included. And I think Conor would do it. I think that he would. You can say whatever you want about Conor McGregor. If you say he's a coward, that's just simply not true. Conor will fight anybody. You can pick the weight class. You can even pick the sport and the rules. That guy will make that walk, for better or worse, but he'll show up. I have to tell you, though, at the time that Dana started saying, hey, we're going to do this again, we're going to do it again, there was a lot more buzz and excitement around it. And I know that they could build that back up, but I think the reason Dana was hanging his hat on that is it was just such a big and massive fight. It's not a bigger fight than George St. Pierre versus Khabib. There's no fight that is. St. Pierre versus Khabib, biggest fight you can make in MMA.